our special celebration of 10 years of innovation led by Flat6Labs across the MENA region. Before we start, I would like to thank all of you for coming out tonight or traveling from all around the region and the world to be with us this evening. We really, really appreciate it. Tonight is special. It's not only our 10th anniversary, but also because it's our first major event that we hold in since March last year. I think you know why. 10 years ago, exactly 10 years ago, on the 10th of October 2011, we launched our very first acceleration cycle in a very nice old building in Giza, just a couple of miles from here. We welcomed a group of 5 very talented founders and entrepreneurs, and that was the start. Over the years, these 5 turned to be 10, 100, 1,000, and today, we are proud to say that Flat6Labs has supported, inspired, and invested in more than 15,000 individuals across the MENA region. How can you go from 0 to 15,000? This is the story we are telling you tonight.
10 years ago,
we started from here.
To believe in your dreams,
to invest in you and add value,
to build a community
that ignites innovation.
we create opportunities and we become your partner.
So your journey
becomes our journey. Your challenges,
we face as our own.
Your achievements, we'll celebrate together.
in Cairo,
Riyadh,
Abu Dhabi,
Beirut,
Tunis,
Bahrain,
and Amman.
We are Flat6Labs.
we are accelerating the future.
How cool is this? It takes a lot of time to film a short video in 7 countries, but actually our team did it. The first person to speak is someone I think everybody in this room actually knows. It's someone that I think all of us count as our godfather and maybe the godfather of the Egyptian ecosystem to some extent as well. And a lot of inspiration actually that he led across the MENA region. And I will tell you a story about how I met him the first time. Hani, actually, our chairman and co-founder, arranged for the meeting. And I kept thinking about all the many questions that Ahmed Alfi might ask, and I have to have the perfect responses for. And then we met, and he was like, "Do you really want to do this thing?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course, it's amazing." And then he said "Cool," and that was it. It's that simple. Ahmed Alfi, everyone.
Thank you. This is a very, very special moment for me personally. So first of all, thank you all. This is just all I can do is say thank you. This is the culmination of a lot of ups and downs, a lot of hard work, and a lot of dreaming, but a lot of hard work by everybody else, okay? Because really, everybody did so much, and when somebody said, you did this, I didn't do anything, really. I pushed the button, I got something started like this. The people here, the people around you, the entrepreneurs, the people that joined later, the people that came into the party, all made the difference. They're the ones who made it. So getting something started is important, but the really important thing is to get out of the way and let people have fun, succeed, and have an impact. Ramaz, Dina, Hani, and Tariq have been with me from, I guess, day one. They went through the whole awards list of the people that have been here from 6 years, 7 years, 5 years. It was an amazing countdown yesterday as they had some internal awards. On the outside, it was all of you that made this happen. We have mentors here. We have people who are investors. We have people who are partners. And we have people from the ecosystem who have been supportive with their organization, with their heart, with their time, and have believed in the entrepreneurs and in the people that we have been trying to support and in the mission that we've been pursuing. So I can tell you that really, really from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank each and every one of you. It really, really is a very special moment. Enjoy it. Get to know as many people here as they can because they're all wonderful. And thank you for joining us, and inshallah, this will be a wonderful event. Fingers crossed, we'll be here in 20.
The next person to speak is another person who doesn't need an introduction. He's someone I count as a mentor, a friend, I think as family. Flat6Labs was his brainchild, and they almost share actually the same birthday, or just made it happen this way. Another funny story about how I was hired to run Flat6Labs in 2011. Hani saw a tweet that actually I tweeted. My ex-boss, Con O'Donnell, who is actually in the audience today, another mentor. So, Hani called her, Con retweeted that. Hani saw it, called Con, was my ex-boss, and told me about that guy who wants to hire me, and I have to go and meet with him. And I thought both of them were crazy, but actually I did. And I think it was the best decision in my life to quit and join Sawari team to start Flat6Labs. Hani, and you are here today because everything that you taught us, and please welcome Hani Sumbati, Flat6Labs founder and chairman.
Hello? Oh, it works. 10 years. 10 سنين عدوا هوا. It's difficult to, I didn't want to write anything down, but I just wanted to feel the moment. And the single most important thing is that the 10 years passed by so quick because all of us, I had amazing companions along the way from the get-go. We all had amazing companions. It was fun. We were doing it amongst friends. And we're here to celebrate, after 10 years, the story of hundreds of friendships and partnerships that we've managed to do across the Arab world, and hopefully beyond in the future. The story of Flat6Labs is the story of those friendships, whether they are the friendships we did with the entrepreneurs or our partners. A lot of them are here. The people who believed in us, people who helped us. This is irreplaceable. You could feel it. You could feel the positive vibes. And that's what I'm personally celebrating here, the journey amongst friends or people who became friends. The other thing I was thinking about what to say, and I think a very sometimes we don't give them their credit, but our families, all of us, our families of the Flat6Labs, my Flat6Labs colleagues, the families of the entrepreneurs, the families of our partners, every single one of those families has given unbelievable sacrifices to help propel forward the, their individual causes. And they are the unknown soldiers at our backs. They are the wind underneath our wings. To quote Bette Midler, right? Yeah. So give it up to our families who we never, who've put up with us, Right? And I think it's critical. I mean, I'm lucky enough to have mine here, but this is not about my family. It's about all of our families, every single one of them who's helped us achieve what we want. And after 10 years, if I am to sum how I feel about this, on behalf of everyone in Flat6Labs, there's one word that's been at the back of my mind for various reasons for the past 4 to 5 months, and that's gratitude. I am absolutely grateful for being able to stand here amongst you today. I'm absolutely grateful that we've done 10 years of this. When we started, nobody thinks about the demise of something they start. It's not something, but day after day after day of ups and downs, a lot of friendships along the way, and all of a sudden you wake up and we're celebrating 10 years, and the only word I could think of is how grateful I am, and my family, and everyone at Flat6Labs for everyone that has crossed our paths. So thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for your trust and friendship.
The next person to come to stage and moderate the next segment is someone that I'm very proud to call a colleague, a friend, and a business partner. Dina joined actually the group with Sawari Ventures, and later on crossed over to Flat6Labs a couple of years later. I always like to believe that I snatched her from Alfie and Haney, but actually Dina is the reason why Flat6Labs is what it is today. Dina brought a lot of real discipline and venture capital fundamentals that we didn't have before. With all the fund structure and how we are providing the value through the programs and the funding, all the 25 amazing LPs that Dina will tell you a little bit more about, all of that was because of Dina. And please, Dina, without further ado, Dina Shunufi, our Chief Investment Officer.
Good evening, everyone. It really is very heartwarming to see all the friendly faces that I know must have gone through a lot of trouble to be with us here today in not so pleasant conditions. But it really does make today a lot easier because today is a little bit bittersweet. At some level, it's really nice to be celebrating 10 years of our achievements. At the other, it's a very stark reminder that I'm 10 years older. I'll have my husband buy me an expensive gift to forget later. And so but the truth is that the story of Flat6Labs is largely intertwined and very much the same as my story. Over the past 10 years, my growths, my tribulations, my personal development, and the person I am here today is the story also of Flat6Labs. Over the next hour or so, I think my colleagues will go through the accomplishments and the achievements and the highs of Flat6Labs. But I think that's only part of our story. I think Hani mentions ups and downs, and so did Elfie. And that is a big chunk of our story. It's the struggles, it's the challenges, it's the setbacks, it's the rejections we had. Every single one of them all lead to moments of doubt, moments of hesitation. But here's the trick, is that I think the struggles are what helped us create a community and advertise and create the awareness and build more mentors and people that believe in what we do. The disagreements we had made us listen, accommodate, and think of how to do better. I think the setbacks meant we had to iterate and come back stronger. And in many ways, all the people that said we were wrong, they did us a favor, because at some level, they were either right and we had to correct, or they were wrong and we just had to believe more and have bigger conviction on what we're doing right. And so there've been ups and downs, but I think what I'm trying to say in a very long-winded story to sum it up is that we spent 10 years trying to build a seed asset class in the MENA region. We tried to prove to the world that this is a new hybrid investment model that is the right model to invest in seed startups, technology and innovation startups, giving them a program that accelerates their growth while at the same time providing them the funding to execute on that program. Otherwise, it becomes very difficult. I think we've iterated, we've helped, and I'd like to believe that we've also become the leaders at what we do. And so out of Egypt we started, and now we're in 7 locations with 8 investment vehicles that we currently manage and an AUM of over 85 million. Now that is very important because these are all the LPs, the investors, the partners that have helped us get to those locations and have invested alongside us. These are just 25 institutional investors, and these are just a snapshot. I think it would be very, very, very worthy time if I go and thank each and every single one of them, but I'd like not to bore you. But I would, if you guys don't mind me, like to particularly thank our very first 2 LPs, Ms. Mida and the IFC. We signed with them in 2016, and that was our first fund and the first 2 institutional investors that have invested alongside Flat6Labs. So thank you very much for validating us and starting that journey with us. Now, what did we do with our money? We invested in 300 companies. We weren't just throwing parties, but we did some of that. But we did also do around over 300 investments, supported by or backed by lovely, lovely founders, thousands of them, and we became their institutional partner. And then we deployed most of what we were given, and our companies have now gone to have a combined market capitalization of 450 million. That is a huge, huge achievement. Huge achievement. The multiplier of what we were able to do is, I think, what drives us and gets us to work every day. And then finally, while the story is not over yet, we are on our way to provide the IRR and the returns that we have promised our investors. I think one of the things I've always loved about Flat6Labs is that it's a little bit of both. I can say I'm doing good, and I like being part of a story that's bigger than me, but we're also providing the real value to the economy and our investors. But, one more but. This is not a job of 1, 2, 3, or even 5 people. This is a job of a full team across the region that has supported us, believed in us, and worked as hard as we did with the same conviction we started out for Flat6Labs. And I can unabashedly boast that, and the females are killing it in our team. So now, that is just the essence and the ethos of what we've been busy doing for the last 10 years. But I think the true story and the details are best presented by my colleagues from across the region. So I'd like to start asking you to applaud each and every one of them for all their loyalty and dedication across the years. And we'll start chronologically according to the locations we've been to. So please help me welcome Marie-Thérèse, our managing partner in Egypt, onto the stage.
Thank you, Gina. Good evening. In January 2011, millions of Egyptians took to the streets and demanded a better future for themselves. The following months witnessed a lot of political, economic, and social uncertainties for Egypt. Despite those turbulent times and the fleeing of funds out of the country, Flat6Labs, a beacon of hope, was conceived out of an iconic building in the heart of Giza, offering the youth of Egypt a better future. Flat6Labs is the first ecosystem and entrepreneurship-centric entity, launching the first accelerator and was one of the first seed investors in the Middle East, and has over the years created, nurtured, and developed the entrepreneurship ecosystem in Egypt, before expanding to other parts of the MENA region and participating in the creation and development of the ecosystems there subsequently. Over the past 10 years, Flat6Labs has received massive support from all of its LPs from all over the world, starting with Sawari Ventures, investing in the Flat6Labs Cairo Legacy portfolio, a total of $1.3 million in 54 investments between 2011 and 2016, and currently joined by the International Finance Corporation, the Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Development Agency, Egypt Ventures, and the Egyptian American Enterprise Fund, who invested in our flagship Flat6Labs Accelerator Seed Fund, a total of $13 million, investing in 100 startups in Egypt between 2017 and 2022. Our flagship seed program was launched in Cairo in 2011 and is currently running its 17th cycle. Other ancillary programs that has been managed by Flat6Labs over the years include Start Egypt, a social impact program supported by the British Embassy and monitored by the IFC. My colleague Hassan Mansi will share more details with you in a bit. 1864, the first fintech accelerator track in the Middle East in partnership with Barclays. DICE, in collaboration with the British Council, focusing on creative economies and marginalized communities. And Ibda'i, a female-focused entrepreneurship program powered by Sanad. Flat6Labs has been the most active investor in Egypt, seeding over 130 investments to date. We've invested a total of $7 million. We've supported more than 500 startups and over 1,000 founders. And our portfolio startups to date have a market cap close to $300 million. More importantly, have created over 62,000 direct and indirect jobs. And those are just the first 10 years. We are looking forward to more and more successful years of accelerating entrepreneurship in Egypt. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Marie. Next, I'd like to welcome my colleague Iyad Bayuk, our GM manager in Saudi.
The privilege of joining the Flat6Labs team earlier this year to head operations in Saudi Arabia. And it's an absolute pleasure to be here, part of the team having joined so recently, celebrating this huge milestone. I'm going to be forever indebted for the fact that I get to share the stage after everything my colleagues had done for the Flat6Labs platform. So to tell you a little bit about the Saudi market, I think it's one of these markets that are often misdiagnosed, so to speak, in our region. It, in fact, I think has three elements of success that we really need in our industry. Those being depth, sustained growth, and a relative ease of doing business. As such, I think it comes as no surprise whatsoever that the value of VC funding has pretty much increased sixfold since 2016. Of course, that made it no surprise that Flat6Labs' first expansion outside of its home market was the Saudi Arabian market. At the time, Flat6Labs set up the country's first privately funded accelerator in partnership with Qutuf and sponsored by IKEA and Arabian Cement. That further continued in the country with the 2019 MISC Innovation Bootcamp. And then finally, less than a year ago, we operated the FinTech Accelerator Program in partnership with FinTech Saudi. Now, over the past 8 years, that left a lasting impact in terms of the ecosystem in Saudi Arabia. Flat6Labs has supported more than 160 startups, creating more than 900 private sector funded jobs in the country. Going forward into the future and to cement Flat6Labs' legacy and lasting impact in the country, we're really excited to announce that we will be releasing Flat6Labs' Startup Seed Fund Program, a closed-ended $35 million limited partnership that will invest in 70 seed and early-stage startups during its 3-year investment period. As part of its operations, the fund will operate its flagship Riyadh Seed Program, hopefully contributing to the economic diversification efforts by creating more than 1,000 jobs. The fund is hopefully expected to start investing in early 2022, and we certainly hope to have you as part of that journey. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Iyad. Next up, not too far, Abu Dhabi. Or not. Please help me welcome my colleague, Ryan and Sharif, to the stage, our GM in Abu Dhabi.
Good evening, everyone. Flat6Labs launched in its third location in Abu Dhabi in 2014. Fast forward to 2021, the UAE has gone on to secure the largest share of transactions in the Middle East, accounting for 26% of venture deals in the region, being valued at $760 million US. Flat6Labs UAE have two investment vehicles, one in its first iteration, MAC, in partnership with 2454, whereby we made 18 investments, investing $2 million with great success stories, such as Washmen, ClearMove, and Narrativa. Our relaunch in partnership with Disrupt AD and ADQ, whereby we have a total commitment of $32 million over the next 3 years to invest in 60 portfolio companies, not to mention the ability that we have to provide follow-on funding to these companies. Since 2015, we have managed to successfully deploy 3 programs in the UAE. Our latest partnership with ADQ, called Flat6Labs Ignite, a highly tailored and curated 4-month program aimed at attracting both seed and pre-Series A founders, with ticket sizes ranging from $150,000 to $250,000, the highest seed stage ticket within the region. In the entirety of our history in the UAE, we have managed to make $4.5 million worth of investments in 26 companies with a market cap of over $52 million. We are proud to have supported over 80 founders and created over 345 jobs. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ryan. Now going a little west, onto Tunisia and Maghreb region. So I'd like to welcome my colleague and friend Walid Triki, our managing partner in Tunisia, to the stage.
Thank you, Gina, very much. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really very happy, and it's really so happy that you are all with us today celebrating the Flat6Labs anniversary. Flat6Labs Tunisia was launched in 2017 in one of the highest and pace startup ecosystem in the MENA region, a country that enjoys a high quality of founders, founding startups and innovative startups. In Tunisia, we manage Anava Seed Fund, a 10 million dinars fund that invests in all the startups that join our seed program. We have an amazing pool of partners, the Tunisian American Enterprise Fund, the Tunisian American Enterprise Fund, Menax Holding, Biat, the International Finance Corporation, and Sawari Ventures, who all renewed their confidence in us. As we recently announced our second close, all of these investors increased their commitments from $3 to $10 million. We offer different types of programs for the startups and for the ecosystem development. Of course, our principal seed program. We are also running Ignite Tunisia, a program that supports the entrepreneurial communities across the region of the country. Also, we are running Green for Youth, an initiative to develop economic empowerment of youth in the green economies. And last year, we launched with UNICEF the Tunisia Champions program to boost innovation among children and youth. Over the last 4 years, Flat6Labs has been the most active investor in Tunisia. We have invested in 59 startups. We have invested a total of $4 million, supported more than 165 startups, more than 280 founders, and our portfolio startups have reached a market cap of $39 million and created more than 7,000 direct and indirect jobs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Walid. Our next stop was Lebanon, Beirut. Unfortunately, we couldn't be joined today by my colleague Fawzi Rahal, so allow me to speak in his voice. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fawzi Rahal, and I'm the managing director of Flat6Labs Lebanon. Despite the not too bright Lebanon you've been hearing about these days, we're still standing strong, and I'm excited to take you through a brief overview. In 2017, we launched Flat6Labs in Lebanon in partnership with ArabNet, supported by Banque du Liban, the Lebanese central bank. Our Lebanese fund at the time, a 13.5 million fund, aiming to invest in 80 companies over 5 years, with 10 Lebanese banks supporting our journey, and with the support of the central bank. Our seed program in Lebanon was designed to curate, invest, train, and support Lebanese founders to scale and grow. In less than 2 years, we managed to create a platform that curated 34 of the best startups in Lebanon, dispersing 3.5 million in investments. Today, and despite it all, our portfolio is worth 27 million. We've also supported over 75 startups and created over 250 jobs for the Lebanese ecosystem. Over the past 2 years, we have unfortunately been witnessing a downturn, starting from the uprising and economic turbulence to the Beirut blast and to end it with COVID. But through it all, the Flat6Labs Beirut team stood strong next to its founders, who have an infinite amount of bravery and have taught us new meanings for patience and passion. In fact, I'd like you to please join me in applauding every Lebanese founder for their extra resilience that makes us proud every day. Thank you, Fawzi. Wish you were here. So next, back east, we launched in Bahrain, Flat6Labs Bahrain, and I would like to welcome my colleague Saleh Abbas, our Managing Director in Bahrain.
Hello. Thank you, Dina. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Flat6Labs launched in Bahrain in March 2018 as a joint venture with Intellectual Resource Management. Bahrain offers a unique launchpad for startups that are looking to scale into the GCC with advantages such as low overhead costs, a highly skilled workforce, government subsidies, a robust regulatory framework, especially in relation to fintech with the CBB sandbox, and direct access to the largest market in the region, Saudi Arabia, just a 30-minute drive away. Our seed program began its first cycle in June 2018 with the goal of kickstarting the Bahrain ecosystem by investing in 42 startups over the course of 3 years, and this was all made possible through our LP Tamkeen. We are also proud to announce our recent partnership with the Hope Fund on 2 initiatives. Biban, a TV show where entrepreneurs from tech and traditional sectors will pitch with the potential to secure funding, and the second we will be announcing soon. To date, we have invested a total of $4 million in 50 startups and have a current market cap of $38 million. Through our programs, we have supported over 125 startups, 250 founders, and 330 skilled jobs. Currently, we are fundraising for the Bahrain Startup Fund, which is a $25 million fund that will focus on seed and bridge investments to address the funding gap that most startups encounter on their journey to Series A financing. We look forward to continuing our pivotal role in growing the Bahrain startup ecosystem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Saleh. Our latest, but not last, I'd like to welcome onto the stage my colleague Rasha Manna, our GM manager in Jordan. Our GM in Jordan.
Shukran, Dina. Masal khair jami'an, and a very good evening. This time from the newest office in the Flat6Labs ever-growing family, Flat6Labs Jordan. One of the frontrunners in the region in terms of ecosystem development, Jordan has proved that it continues to produce some of the best tech talent in the region, and that vast potential remains to be unleashed. Jordan was behind the first notable tech exit in the region, when Maktoub was sold to Yahoo in 2009 for $164 million. That same team that built Maktoub were the ones who founded Souk, and who led its exit when it got acquired by Amazon in 2017 for $580 million, one of the largest tech transactions in the region. And then most recently, just announced a month ago, was the exit of the gaming studio, Jawakir. It got acquired by Stillfront Group for $205 million. We're very excited that Flat6Labs, Shukran. We're very excited that Flat6Labs is now operational in Jordan. And we're very fortunate that our office's inception coincides with the 10-year anniversary. Because what that means for us is that we get to build our office supported by a wealth of data, experience, best practices, and most importantly, a stellar brand name and reputation that is synonymous with being an entrepreneur-friendly, entrepreneur-centric organization. We officially launched at the end of June. Our $20 million fund looks to invest in 90 startups across Jordan over the next 5 years. We secured our first close of over $7 million for an amazing group of highly committed and supportive investors. Some of them are with us tonight. Our fund is anchored by Jordan's Innovative Startups and SME Fund, the ISSF, and it also includes our long-term partner across several of our funds, the IFC, and that is alongside the Women Entrepreneurs Finance Initiative, WeFi, Beyond Capital, happy birthday, Tamer. Bank Al Ittihad and GMS Ventures. We offer seed funding of $65,000 and up to $170,000 in follow-on funding. The slide includes our fund targets, given I don't have a track record to share with you yet. But that said, just 2 weeks ago, and just over 3 months since our inception, did we secure or did we select our first cohort of 6 highly promising startups. We're going to be deploying capital this month, and we're going to be kicking off our program in early November. I do hope that many of you get to meet our startups during Demo Day. I'd just like to say that Flat6Labs Jordan is committed to making a meaningful contribution to the track record built by our sister funds. I thank you for your kind attention and wish you a pleasant evening. Shukran لكم.
Thanks, Yasha. So one last time, ladies and gents, I'd love a very big round of applause. Everyone who came on stage was only a representative of a bigger team that also supports them. So please help me to tell them all thank you for all the help and dedication they gave Flat6Labs over the last 10 years. Thank you all very much.
Happy anniversary to Flat6Labs and to many more years to come.
Happy birthday, Flat6Labs. All the best to come.
Congratulations to Flat6Labs for their 10th ever anniversary. And again, congratulations for their outstanding achievement and widespread over the region.
I cannot believe it's been 10 years. And it is so incredible watching you grow from this loft in Cairo to now being a global force for acceleration.
عيد ميلاد سعيد Flat6Labs. Wish you a lot of success and happy returns and lots of fun.
نبارك لفلات6لابس احتفالهم بعيدهم العاشر ونتمنى لهم مزيد من التقدم والنجاح بإذن الله. Happy anniversary.
I wish you many happy returns and every success into the future and a very, very, very happy birthday.
Happy 10th anniversary to Flat6Labs. Wish you many happy returns to the 10 next years.
Happy anniversary to Flat6Labs.
Happy birthday, Flat6Labs.
Congratulations, Flat6Labs, on reaching this important milestone of your 10th anniversary.
We wish Flat6Labs a happy anniversary. Good luck.
Flat6Labs has already carved its place in history of entrepreneurship as the largest and most prolific early-stage investor in this part of the world. I am certain that Flat6Labs' impact is just getting started, and that these 10 years are only the beginning of a long journey of audacity, passion, and perseverance.
We are very proud of this partnership, and we are really looking forward that our model and our contribution as part of the overall contribution of Flat6Labs, regional and international, can continue to make an impact for the next 10, 20, 50 years, inshallah.
So, I am so happy for you all. I'm so excited about the future of Flat6Labs, and I'm so excited that GAN has been able to be a part of and see this growth from day one.
نفتخر بالشراكة مع Flat6Labs مكاتبهم في الأردن، ونتطلع أن تكون هذه المكاتب عبارة عن منصة لانطلاق الرياديين في الأردن وفي المنطقة.
It's great to have a partner like Flat6Labs who are so professional and so great to work with.
Bank Al Ittihad is proud of the partnership with Flat6Labs, and we hope that together we can achieve great impact to the ecosystem in Jordan as done in other countries.
Another 10 years or many more 10 years going forward with IFC supporting you.
We look forward to developing and growing our partnership and seeing what the future will hold for both us and Egypt.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nahla Ibrahim. I'm the Regional Monitoring and Evaluation Manager of Flat6Labs, and I will be moderating this next segment. I hope you are enjoying your time with us today in celebrating Flat6Labs' 10 years journey, and thank you so much for making the time to join us today. Now that we have presented our location's accomplishments, We wanted to show you Flat6Labs recipe, our overall impact in entrepreneurship ecosystem, and showcase some of our portfolio startups. We're going to start up with Flat6Labs regional programs achievements to be presented by Yahya Houri, our managing director in Tunisia.
Thank you, Nahla, and welcome everyone. 10 successful years. We have spent most of these years reflecting on how we can best support entrepreneurs and what we can do to be more impactful. What sets us apart are the comprehensive support mechanisms that we provide alongside financial investments. You might have guessed it by now, we are not a traditional investment fund. Flat6Labs launched 20 different programs across the entire region. They can be split into 3 different categories: seed programs, accelerator programs, and ecosystem initiatives. Our processes are simple. We didn't reinvent the wheel, we just focused on quality delivery. Over the past decade, we've continuously improved our methods and processes to make sure that we inspire and choose the best entrepreneurs in each industry with a very competitive and selective process, to provide the best quality programs, support them with funding and business services, and to make our experienced teams available to help them grow over time with commercial support and regional exposure. Our impact is growing. We have received close to 25,000 applications to our programs and have supported more than 1,000 startups from across the MENA region. Nahla spoke of the Flat6Labs recipe. The ingredients that enable us to grow are our team, our network, and our partners. Today, we're very lucky to have found like-minded partners who trust in our processes. We have developed over the years truly impactful relationships with government entities, private sector companies, and donor-funded institutions who share a common goal of supporting entrepreneurs across the region and the world. I'm proud today to be introducing a startup from Lebanon who has capitalized on the diaspora community to literally deliver happiness to its citizens. Please join me in welcoming Adnan from Presentail to the stage. Adnan, thank you very much for being with us today. Can you please tell us a little bit more about Presentail?
Of course. Thanks, Yahya. Marhaba. My name is Adnan Ammash. I'm the founder and CEO of Presentail, Lebanon's largest online flower and gift delivery company. 6 years ago, I moved to New York City to study finance and global business at NYU. I left my friends, family, and Teta. Like most people who move abroad, I still wanted to be a part of home and celebrate. I wanted to send a gift and assumed there was an app for that, but they were all expensive and inconvenient. So this is what we all do. We call a cousin who buys a gift for her mom that she doesn't really like. Globally, 3 out of 4 Lebanese people are based abroad, yet very few goods and services exist to cater to that community. I decided to change that, and we created Presentail. Presentail is making it easier and more fun for expats to send gifts to their friends and family in Lebanon. Through a sleek website, users can send flowers, chocolate, cake, and more to celebrate important occasions, like Dina's birthday. Since graduating from Flat6Labs in October 2019, I grew the team from 1 to 20 people, achieved a conversion rate of 3.5%. And what I'm most excited about is that during the last 9 months, we've generated over $140,000 in revenue. Today, we're live in Lebanon and Jordan, and we're raising $1 million to expand to Egypt. Thank you, everyone. And the next time you want to send a gift, please use Presentail.
Thank you very much, Adnan. I have 2 questions for you before we go. The first one, as Dina explained, and of course, as everybody has been witnessing in the news, Lebanon has been going through an extremely difficult time. How has Presentail succeeded against all odds in the last 2 years?
Of course. Beer, wine, hashish, that's really, well, on a more serious note, so there's a couple of things that happened. We actually graduated a weekend before Lebanon's downturn happened, so we were fortunate enough to really optimize our dollar and really put money in the right place. Two, it has to really do with the resilience of our team. We've really invested a lot in perfect operations, and what I'm really fortunate to have today is a super resilient team, and when something goes bad, we pick ourselves up and do better. And of course, Flat6Labs has been incredible. Everyone from Fawzi and everyone really have been a tremendous help.
Great. You actually answered my second question about whether the program supported you and helped you out. But maybe you can actually tell us how, especially in the past 2 years, what the role that Flat6Labs had in the life of Presentail.
Of course. So what's really fortunate about us is that our target customer are Lebanese people who live abroad, which basically means if Lebanon things go bad, people leave. So during the past 2 years, we've seen mass migration to places like Saudi Arabia and the UAE, which has really propelled our growth. And not only that, to go back to your question about Flat6Labs, they've been also very fortunate in our support, and it's been really incredible.
Very much.
Thank you, guys. And the next time, bye, Presentail. Bye.
Yeah, you can keep it. Great. Thank you, Nahla. Back to you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Yahya and Adnan. We hope everyone enjoyed exploring our diverse programs and impact in entrepreneurship. Speaking of impact, we would like to dig deeper into Flat6Labs' regional social impact in the MENA region, which will be presented by Hassan Mensi, Start Egypt Program Director.
Thank you, Nahla. Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying your evening so far. As for me, I've had the pleasure during the past 4 years to lead one of the most impactful programs at Flat6Labs, the Start Egypt program. Yes, proudly, 50% of our supported startups on a regional level have social impact. That's really what sets us apart from competition. Not only do we care about the ROI of our LPs, but also of the impact generated by their portfolio of investment. Our programs on a regional level have been able to provide around 4,000 direct and 58,000 indirect jobs, while 27% of them belong to females and 79% for youth. Inclusivity and gender ratio has been always a top priority for us, and we are constantly keeping an eye on it. We are proudly leading the competition regionally by supporting 36% female-led startups, working with entrepreneurs from over 40 nationalities, and 24% of our founders are from remote areas. Start Egypt is one of the great examples for an inclusive program managed by Flat6Labs. Start Egypt has been a major driver for innovation in the social impact space over the past 4 years. Launched in November 2017, funded by the UK government and supported by the IFC. The Start Egypt program has been unique in its impact. Since inception, the program has been able to engage with more than 12,000 participants through 80 events across 14 different governorates. Start Egypt consisted of 3 incubation programs in Cairo, Asyut, and in Alex, and has incubated more than 150 startups. The program has also released grants specifically for social impact startups with a total value of around $450,000 US. And now, allow me to introduce you to Mohammed Abdelaziz, CEO of Bremore, one of the most impactful startups in Egypt portfolio, so he can share his story with you. Hello, Mohammed. How are you today?
Yeah, fine.
I hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I'm enjoying.
Great. So tell me, Mohammed, We all know that Bremore is the most impactful startups in our portfolio, especially in the number of indirect jobs generated. So why do you think that is?
Yeah, actually, this is the bright part of Bremore, the impact on our stakeholders. So for the impact on the suppliers, but before talking about the impact, let's give about little bit about Bremore. So we are a social commerce and parallel go-to-market platform connecting emerging brand owners with network of individuals selling the products into their surrounding circles, by which ensuring smooth market access for the manufacturers and generating dynamic income opportunities for the sellers. We've been operating for 4 years. In 4 years, we grew 400x from 300 sellers, 500 products, 20 suppliers. Now we have a universe of 75,000 sellers, selling 10,000 products, 300 suppliers, and from $200K annual sales to now $85 million sales.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
And how many indirect jobs, how many housewives are working on the platform?
75,000 sellers across all Egypt.
All Egypt, 75,000. Most of them are?
Yeah, most of them are women. So for the impact, actually we enable the suppliers to execute their common dream. Every supplier, every manufacturer has a dream of producing best value for money product and sell it in every district in Egypt. So we enable them to do that. For example, manufacturer in a health and beauty care, before Bremore, it was on 150 square meters, working 2 shifts per week. And after Bremore, now it's on 1,500 square meters, working 2 shifts per day. So this is the impact for the supplier. For the ladies, we open a wide gate of empowerment. Now our ladies with the dynamic income opportunities, they became financially capable to supplement their families, to upgrade their lifestyles, is to release the financial burden of their husbands. And another thing, every day they wake up for doing business, so they have something to belong, and they have a very high sense of self-fulfillment.
So now that we've talked impact, let's talk money.
Yeah.
So we've all heard about the very promising follow-on fund that you've been able to raise recently. So what's your key advice for entrepreneurs who are currently raising funds?
So the advice is fundraising is a full-time job. Never go to fundraise when you need money. It's a full-time job. It needs a long time to build relations and to build a network and to be always on the top of the mind of the investors. And the second thing, focus on substance, focus on the value. Every time when the investor check the progress of the company, you have to always deliver and to be up to the projections. So this is our advice.
Thanks so much, Mohammed, and over to you, Nahla. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan and Mohammed, for showing us how Flat6Labs is keen on considering social impact investment. In fact, Flat6Labs has diverse tactful engagement methods with stakeholders and investors in the market to help in growing our startups. So please welcome Albert Molati, our Managing Director in Egypt, to present to us Flat6Labs Regional Investors Engagements.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. At Flat6Labs, our main focus is ensuring the entrepreneurs we partner with continue to succeed. So in addition to our seed investment ticket and our seed program, we work with multiple investment groups, continuously keeping our startup founders on investors' radars while providing a diverse pipeline for investors across the globe. Our investor network spans across the Middle East, Africa, Europe, Asia, and the US, and is made up of angel investors, angel investment groups, and venture capitals, as well as world-leading corporations. During our seed programs, we involve our investor groups in multiple capacities, from mentoring our cycle startups to running investor-focused events and pitch nights. 250 of them, where the investors really get to know the founders and dive deep into their businesses. The pinnacle of our seed program is Demo Day. We've already run 45 of them, welcoming over 10,000 attendees, where corporates, government representatives, the media, and our vast network are invited to watch the incredible business progress our founders achieve throughout the seed program. During the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, we swiftly shifted all our programs to run virtually, and with them our demo days, enabling us to reach a much larger audience of over 150,000 views. All of these efforts are to try to maximize the potential of our startups raising post-program follow-on funding. An impressive 38% of our startups have gone on to raise follow-on funds, which have totaled over $7 million, $70 million to date. And now, I'd like to welcome to the stage Sameh Saleh, the founder and CEO of Hawaya, previously known as Harmonica, one of our successful exit companies and one of our very successful portfolio companies.
Thank you.
Hi, Sameh.
Hi.
Welcome. Thank you. So, Sameh, you've had an incredible journey with Harmonica, now Hawaya. Could you briefly describe what Hawaya does?
So Hawaya, we help people get married. It's a more high intent dating app, form of dating app, which fits our culture more. We started 4 years ago, and now we're in 13 markets. We're growing well in some of the tough markets, like in France, in UK. We're scaling in Turkey, we're in Indonesia, Malaysia, so that's the end of the story.
Very impressive. So you've made some impressive progress in the past few years. Can you tell us a bit more about your fundraising journey and how Flat6Labs guidance and follow-on funding played a pivotal role in your growth activities and eventually your exit?
For sure, and I haven't really prepared much, but I always tell everyone that Flat6Labs is more like family. It's their role is not just as an investors. They're more like co-founders. We went to them with an idea, I remember with an Excel sheet, telling them there's a huge value and impact that we could actually do. And we didn't know anything about starting a startup. They basically took us from the very, very early stage and started like teaching us how to run a startup, how to build a startup, and like what are the metrics to look at. And they were there from that moment until we actually we got acquired. And the best thing is that you trust them. Like they are family, you trust them, and that's very important in a founder to investor relationship. So when things get tough, that's where they are to really help and support and push. So I would say they were really like critical in the journey of Hawaya. And I'm sure like now it's one of their babies that they're happy to see growing worldwide. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sameh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now back to you, Nahla.
Thank you, Albert and Sameh. Flat6Labs' impact in the entrepreneurship market has certainly attracted many regional and international investors. We're also very mindful of the power of innovation and corporate engagements with us and our startups. So I would like to welcome Ahmed Aimir, our Business Development Director, to show you how we do it.
Thanks, Nahla. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. So working with corporates on the regional level is something we really pride ourselves on. Since our inception, we've provided to our corporate partners early access to high-quality investment deal flow and access to innovative products and services. Our corporate partners have supported us in various ways, including sponsoring our seed programs. And to date, we've held over 125 corporate networking online and offline events in light of recent events. And we also sit on a gold mine of mentors developed over our last decade in business, 60% of whom come from our corporates. Another area of support we receive from corporate partners is the perks we offer. And we're able to offer these to our startups exceeding $400,000 in value. These are some of the partners we've worked with over the last decade. Many of you are here with us tonight, so thank you for your support. And in a world where corporates need to be at the cutting edge of innovation, we've powered our corporate partners in a number of our locations, starting with 1864 in partnership with Barclays Bank. That was our first fintech-focused startup accelerator program of its kind in Egypt. The program ran through the second half of 2015 and aimed to provide Barclays with insights into various digital trends. Over 45 founders received more than 180 hours of training, with over 60 mentors, trainers, and guest speakers. We also launched the region's first digital media-focused accelerator in the UAE in partnership with 2454. And also in partnership with UNICEF, we developed CRC Tunisia Innovation Champion to boost innovation among youth and implement an entrepreneurship mindset to tackle children's daily challenges in education, health, water, sanitation, and protection. And finally, we partnered with FinTech Saudi to launch FinTech Accelerator, Saudi's first scale FinTech program. We designed and operated the 4-month program, taking FinTechs from idea stage to MVP stage. 10 FinTechs were accelerated from over 400 applications, creating over 200 jobs since. And with us here today is Nasser Al-Tamimi, co-founder of Ras Mal, one of the companies that joined FinTech Accelerator. Nasser.
Hi, Ahmed.
How's it going?
Great. Thank you for having us today here, and congratulations on attending the anniversary.
Thank you so much. It's great to have you with us. So this is the first time I meet Nasser.
In person, not virtually.
In person. The entire program was run virtually, so it's great you can join us tonight.
Great to be here.
Before I jump into some questions, you want to tell our guests a little bit about what Ras Mal does?
Sure. So Ras Mal is basically an equity management solution that serves startups from cap table management, scenario modeling of investment rounds, governance in the sense of minutes of meeting management and e-voting, and some financial analysis tools.
Great. So it's been almost a year since we kicked off the program. What would you say your biggest from joining the accelerator?
Well, besides of the fruitful sessions that focused on business in general and growth hacking and business strategies, the main thing I believe was pitch days, which were weekly, which helped us excellent our pitches and perfect it, and the investor networking in a sense of meeting investors prior to demo day and having them more familiar with our products before demo day.
Great, thanks, Nasser. My second question is, so as we near our Saudi launch with Iyad, what advice would you give your fellow founders looking to go through their growth journey?
Two things, probably. First is focusing on customer satisfaction and customer success stories. Second of all is leveraging on the current situation of Saudi Arabia and the governmental support and the increased investment with the support of JADA and SBC.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you, Amir and Nasser, for this fruitful chat and presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed our regional highlights and achievements. And now, please allow me to welcome Dina Shanufi back on stage to show us some of our portfolio startups through an interactive live chat. Thank you very much.
Hi, hey everyone. So, hold tight. So I'd like to welcome 5 extraordinary founders onto the stage. Rasha Radi, co-founder of Shifa, a Flat6Labs Egypt portfolio company. Ahmed Wadi, CEO and founder of Manial Palace, Flat6Labs 1864 portfolio company, our fintech track with Barclays at the time. Yasser Al-Idris, Flat6Labs founder and CEO of Lamma, Flat6Labs Tunisia portfolio company. Ali Al-Alawi, founder and CEO of Unipal, Flat6Labs Bahrain portfolio company. And last, Haytham Al-Khatib, CEO and founder of ClearMove, a Flat6Labs Abu Dhabi portfolio company. Thank you all. So can I start with asking each of you to very quickly tell the audience what your company does?
Hello everyone, good evening, and congratulations Flat6Labs for the 10th year anniversary. My name is Ali Al-Alawi, I'm the co-founder of Unipal. Unipal is an online platform dedicated for university students, allowing them to benefit through a digitized student card.
Hi everyone, I'm Yasir Ismail Idrisi, based from Tunis. I am a CEO and co-founder at Lamma. Lamma is a quick commerce player based in Tunisia and aimed for West and North Africa.
Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed, founder and CEO of Manial Palace. Manial Palace offers the masses access to affordable credit and give them attractive saving options, all via digitizing the very traditional ROSCA model, rotating savings and credit associations, which is known as Gamaya here in the region.
Hi, first happy birthday Flat6Labs. Shifa is a GPS-enabled pharmacy benefits platform helping chronic patients to order, schedule, refill recurring prescriptions as well as all pharmacy needs, with more and more services to improve compliance and adherence, offering an end-to-end healthcare experience.
Hi, Haytham Al-Khatib, Managing Director of ClearMove. We help large enterprises and corporates basically relocate and track their employees globally. We currently operate in over 90 countries and we have over 120 suppliers across the globe.
So let me start with the lady. Rasha, I know Shifa has stemmed from a personal drive that led to you wanting to make things better as you and your co-founder. So how was that journey?
It was bumpy at the beginning. Well, my co-founder was diagnosed with thyroid cancer in 2017. And I remember exactly the day she came up with the idea of Shifa. She was in isolation with only her laptop and mobile phone. And she said, okay, I can order literally everything I need except for the medicine I'm going to need for the rest of my life. So my background is academic. I'm a pediatrician, pediatric hematology oncology specifically. So I know what chronic patients face. And that's how we started to search what people in the more civilized, more advanced world in States and Europe do, and then try to find a way that we can do it here in Egypt, and that's how Shifa started. Shifa looks different now from how we started. Well, we only started with 4 people, 4 employees. We are now 73 employees. Actually, we graduated from cycle 10, by the way. So again, happy birthday, Flat6Labs. So now we have, since inception, we have maintained our month-over-month growth, and we have generated more. We have achieved and fulfilled successfully more than 1.4 million orders. We have now more than 600,000 active users, and we have more than 3.5 million monthly triggered users across all Shifa platforms from all the Arabic-speaking populations, actually.
Congratulations to you. Wadi, you operate in a very hot sector, fintech. It's the rave, but it's actually not an easy sector because it's heavily regulated. How's that?
Yeah, it's not just about regulation. So apart from it's extremely highly regulated industry, and I think regulation is just about to pick up here in like fintech regulations in Egypt. But I think the challenge was, with the lack of regulations, how to really build credibility with the users. So there's a lot of different aspects to really support a company, especially in the fintech sector, that wasn't really in our favor. But I think a good user experience, the right product, the right operations, I think is what really truly builds credibility with the users. So this was really our main focus. Beyond just getting our licenses and all, which looks much better than when we started. But yeah.
And where's Money Fellows now?
So we're actually in 20 cities across Egypt today. We have over 160,000 active users. We've rotated just, lately, over $1 billion Egyptian pounds. The majority of it being just in the past 12 months. So yeah, that's good.
Fantastic work. So Haitham, I know the history of ClearMove, which started out as a kidney, but you guys pivoted and created a similar product or a bigger product from that initial notion. What is that? What drives you, and when do you know that you need to pivot?
Being part of the Flat6Labs program was instrumental to our pivot, basically. So we got to speak to a lot of our clients, our customers, and we were trying to solve the problem of finding a home. During that process, we figured out that the problem wasn't finding a home; it was a process of relocating, and it all stemmed back to the corporates who were moving their employees across the globe. So, based on that, we decided we need to solve the problem of global mobility and relocation on the corporate side, and by looking into that market, we found there's huge gaps in terms of the software, the supply chain, and we thought that we would be the ones to tackle that, and so far we've been very successful in doing it. Thank you.
On to Yasser, and actually Ali, I have the same question for both. So you both are launching out of smaller markets with the idea of very quickly expanding to neighboring bigger markets. How does that help you strategize and build and think of different cultures that you have to expand to?
Well, that's true. I think it's a good thing to start from a smaller market because it forces you to think from day one that you need actually to think bigger. So starting from Tunisia, I'm a French Moroccan and I'm based in Tunisia. So I know for a fact that even Morocco or Tunisia are both small markets. So from the beginning, we thought about this venture as an African venture, which is starting from Tunisia, but then will be expanded the rest of at least the north and west part of Africa. So actually, I think to answer your question, it's a good thing to start from that as a perspective. Well, as an entrepreneur, you always should think reality is what you have, and then you should build out of it. If I would be in Egypt, probably I would not say the same thing, but I'm where I am, so I'm starting this. And I think Africa in the next 5 or 10 years and will be probably in a situation where maybe Asia is right now. So it's a good thing to start from that market.
Thank you, Yasser.
Couldn't agree more. To add to that, I think in terms of testing, so for us launching an app and actually being able to test it before going to bigger, more emerging markets is definitely a big factor in terms of starting Bahrain, which is probably the smallest market in the MENA. But definitely the aim is always go larger, go bigger, go into Saudi, go into UAE, and go even further.
And so our expansion plans happening very soon for both of you?
Yes, ours is in early 2022, so in a few months' time, inshallah.
Fantastic.
And we have already employees in Morocco and planning to open in January, and we're making contacts in Ivory Coast and Senegal already.
Amazing. And that's where we sort of embarrassingly boast a little. How did Flat6Labs help you?
I have the mic, so I think it's on me. Well, it helped a lot. I mean, one of the things we did over the last 18 months is a strong pivot. And restarting from scratch something which was working, but just doing okay, but not like super okay. So it helped us really reassessing what we've been doing and making this decision, which is like starting from scratch again, but using the core assets we've been developing. And that's without, I think, assets, the Flats team, probably, I don't know if we had have the courage to do it, but thank you, probably it's changed our life. And thank you to the whole team, and I see all of them, and hi everyone.
I can quickly just use the opportunity to thank you guys as well, because when we first started
I
Manial
just
Palace,
bought you chocolate.
Yeah, she bought me a lot of chocolates.
That's the only way to get him to meet me.
But I mean, we moved from the UK. It was truly an accelerating experience because, I mean, we had to really, you know, just get to build the right network, which and do a lot of stuff, understanding, you know, how to really launch here and get introduced to a lot of the people in the ecosystem. So I think it was truly an accelerating experience. In just 3 months, we got it all, and it would have taken us like 9 months or a year without Flat6Labs. So thank you guys.
Thanks, Mehdi.
Well, actually, we became operational in April 2018. That's the month of our graduation from Cycle 10. And so our achievements is marked by our graduation from Flat6Labs. That's one thing. The other thing that's very important, and I don't know where Marie is, but I'm very sorry. All my messages start on WhatsApp. Apologies for sending a message over the weekend. Apologies for sending a message at that late time. Yeah, so she's always, oh yeah, طبعا. She always writes طبعا. So thank you. She's one WhatsApp text away from us whenever we need anything. And for me personally, because I come from an academic background, the 4 months of Flat6Labs were my debut in the entrepreneurship. That's the first time I ever learned the word entrepreneurship. So thank you for this, and again, happy birthday.
Thank you, Rasha.
I think for me, I see Flat6Labs as kind of that spark to the fire. So for us, you know, coming into a program where we have other entrepreneurs with us, we have a support team there for us, and we can always, you know, starting a startup is not just about making money and finding your business model, but there's a lot of emotional things that you pass through during that experience. So having a team there, a support system there as well is really, really important. And for us as well, the pivot was instrumental to our success as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks. Ali?
I think Sameh said something very important, in that Flat6Labs is more like a co-founding team rather than investors. Something very important to us is to share the downs rather than ups, to obviously grow better, and to be able to do that with the investors that we see as co-founders is something very, very important. I think that's cherry on top of the cake.
Thank you all very much for being with us here today and for being part of the journey, and we hope we stay part of your journeys too. Thank you all very much. I'd like to hand over now to Flat6Labs board member, Wael Amin, who will speak to a select group of our other stakeholders, LPs and partners. Please welcome Wael Amin.
Can I ask fellow panelists to come up on the stage? His Excellence Muthanna, Walid, Hala Furati. So this is the last sort of programmed event before dinner, always the hardest. Thank you for bearing with us today. I mean, we have seen Flat6Labs team members, we have seen startups, entrepreneurs. But really, I'm honored to have with me on the stage today, I mean, some of the people who I consider the movers and shakers of this sector in the Arab world, right? Each person on the stage has been really instrumental, a friend and partner, and a very important part of the 10-year history of Flat6Labs. We're joined by Ms. Hala Forati, who is the Managing Director of the Tunisia American Enterprise Fund, who was our first and largest supporter in Tunisia. Ross Strike with the CDC. The CDC was our anchor investor in the Sawari Fund and is our largest investor in the Sawari Fund and have been incredibly supportive along this journey. Mrs. Sabah Al-Muayyad, again, our first and biggest and most important partner in Flat6Labs in Bahrain. His Excellence Muthanna Al-Ghariba, he was instrumental in putting together the Flat6Labs Jordan Fund and really making it happen in the most difficult time. And of course, last but not least, dear friend Walid Labadi, who is the Regional Director for Middle East and North Africa for IFC. IFC has been an incredibly supportive and important partner to Flat6Labs across several locations. This is the last panel. We're going to keep it brief, but I think extremely important different viewpoints out of very important institutions in the region. So I'm going to start with Hala. Hala, you have done incredible work with the Tunisian American Enterprise Fund across several different types of asset classes. And I wanted you to share with us a little bit how you see early and seed stage investment as part of that broad picture in Tunisia.
Sure. Welcome everyone. So it's a great pleasure to be in Cairo here, and also a good pleasure to see all the team. Congrats for everything. So a little bit of background. So the Tunisian American Enterprise Fund is a $100 million fund that is committed by the US Congress through USAID, and basically we had an economic role and support of the private sector following the Arab Spring. So we decided to invest like what we have called the smart capital, because we wanted to do it like innovative. We want to address the middle and missing middle segments, those underserved entrepreneurs and SMEs. We wanted to be innovative. We wanted also to have impact, not only on the ecosystem, but also the investment themselves needed to have impact. So we went through the whole spectrum of the economy of Tunisia, basically. We invested in microfinance entrepreneurs. We invested in the traditional growing entrepreneurs in the traditional sectors of Tunisia. We also decided to invest in entrepreneurs that wanted to buy out companies and to become their CEO. And last, we went into the digital entrepreneurs. And this was a very risky bet at that moment. But following the Arab Spring, I mean, we completely understood that Tunisia greater assets would be its talented, ambitious, connected to the world youth, and those people needed help, needed support in an ecosystem that was completely, let's say, inexistent, or at least very nascent, where we had no real player in the seed and venture capital industry, where the burden, both bureaucratic and administrative, would not really be the most enabler, let's say, in investing in seed and venture capital, where we had little exposure of international DFIs and international investors. So we had made that bet, and we have met the Flat6Labs teams and others that joined the journey all together in 2017. We're very happy, really, to have created a unique platform in Tunis that combine a program of acceleration, and I'm not going to repeat, I guess that you had all the details, but the super great thing is that you combine acceleration, you combine technicity, you combine support, and you combine fund. and Anava Seed Fund, which is the linked fund to our accelerator, in which TAF has been an anchor investor for 40%. We have been believing in the team. We have increased our investment, though a bit complicated because we are not really supposed to be that risky, but we went risky. The impact in terms of return is yet to come. I think that we have still early companies. The first cycle happened in 2018, so we are observing great multiple. We are observing great growth for those startups. I do believe that we will be realizing extraordinary returns and exit, but the impact is much higher. And we at TAF measure not only the returns and the impact. And basically, we are seeing the impact. We have been pioneer with all the team in creating such a platform. We have impacted the ecosystem. We have even led the public sector to engage into reform and to recreate a whole startup act and fund-of-fund initiatives that are coming up. So the public sector has been pushed by us, which is great. And most importantly, investees, at the level of the investee, we're seeing lots of impact, whether it is social, whether it is regional distribution, whether it is gender and youth empowerment. So, well, in order to conclude, I would say that aside from all the part of investment focus that we have in TAF, I think that the riskier one was, it was a great and risky bet, let's say, to empower this platform, Flat6Labs and Anava Seed Fund. But I think that it has contributed to put Tunisia in the radar of the digital and connected world, and most importantly, to reconnect our youth to success, to hope, to resilience, and to performance. Thank you.
Thank you, Hala. Ross, I mean, you're privileged in having done venture capital and early stage investment in Southeast Asia and now in Africa. So in a sense, we get a sense that you have seen the future, right? So can you tell us a little bit about what the future holds for this part of the world and what your experiences have been?
Sure thing. Thanks, Well. And it's great to be here tonight in person. My colleague Shireen sends her apologies for not making it to the panel. But again, great to be here and see everyone in person and be back in Egypt. So yeah, CDC is the UK's development finance institution and an impact investor, primarily in Egypt and venture. We're in funds like Sawari Ventures, and through that investors in Flat6Labs in Egypt and Tunis, and it's been a real privilege to get to know the team. And like Wal said, we're also major investors in India, venture capital, and other emerging markets around the world, and I think I have really positive feelings about where Egypt's headed. I think the talent here is incredibly deep. The market is large, and I think just very exciting road ahead, looking even a few years compared to where it was when we started looking a few years ago. So yeah, very positive overall.
Thank you, Ross. So Mrs. Sabah, we met, I mean, 3-4 short years ago, and you had already done everything that can be done in the finance world in Bahrain, right? And then you embark on this journey in seed stage and venture. And I'm extremely intrigued about what your motivations were at the time and how has this turned out and what your experience has been.
Good evening, everyone, and again, you know, I'm very delighted to be here with all the partners of Flat6Labs. And really, for me, you are absolutely right. Basically, you know, I mean, it started, my whole career have always been involved in terms, I've been involved in terms of actually financing businesses, you know, and financing businesses, established businesses, whether they are SMEs or corporate or government. And when I decided really that there are areas that maybe we need to start looking at more closely, which is basically how to support the startup community and how to support the one who are not able to access funding in the same way that SMEs or commercials would be able to access. And the government of Bahrain have realized the importance, in fact, of the SMEs sector long time back, more than 10 years back, when they established a funding agency that promoted the SMEs. So the SMEs today in Bahrain, they constitute more than 85% to 90% of the businesses in Bahrain. When I decided basically to capitalize on that, I wanted to move from just being like the SME sector to the entrepreneurship and innovation, because I did believe that Bahrain have got really the talents, got the highly educated young generation, and at the same time, the government have been giving a lot of support in that respect. In fact, Bahrain was one of the first countries in the GCC that launched what is called the Startup Bahrain, which was more than 6 years back. And we had, in fact, angel investors, companies, in Bahrain established much earlier than this. So I started searching and I found Flat6Labs, which was basically having the model that I thought would be very, kind of like create and support the establishment and the launch of the innovation system of Bahrain. And what really excited me in that experience is whatever we have submitted, we were the first. Like we were the first to submit our application to Bahrain to basically establish an accelerator, which in fact we wanted to establish a VC. But the government said, the government funding agency said, no, we want to be the sole LP and we want to do it all for the next 5 years. And this is how the journey started. And we do feel with the graduation of 50 startups in Bahrain, we've been able to attract hundreds and hundreds of applications from all over the world. There were companies that were established in Bahrain, have been running really through our accelerator, and we have been able to generate, in fact, from external investors. And that was part of our objective, is really to bring up the private sector. So we are not really like, unlike maybe some of the other regions, we are actually bringing the private sectors to come in as individuals and as angel investors, as a VCs, to support our startups. And our next also achievement has been that we have managed to convince the central bank, as we are embarking on establishing our VC fund, we have managed to convince the central bank to basically establish a special category for VCs. Not only that we were the first really in Bahrain to establish the accelerators, the concepts, and even we managed to get the Ministry of Commerce to create a special activity for the accelerator based on our application and our business model. Now the central bank has recently released a very lightweight, or what we call lightly regulated VC category, which can support not only us to establish our VC, but also it can promote for other VC, for Bahrain to become one of the most regional centers, being one of the most who have entered the fintech kind of activity, also to promote the VC. And for me, it's aspiration. It's the aspiration that we are giving for the younger generation. Bahrain has a very highly educated younger generation, and at the same time, we have the ability to basically take them beyond our cross-border to the region, hopefully. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sawah. So, Muthanna, you were a former Minister of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship several years back. So, I mean, this is a sign that Jordan early on saw the massive opportunity, saw the link between digital economy and entrepreneurship, found a great minister to run it. So what are the lessons you can share with other countries and other markets around digital economy and entrepreneurship? And what are the lessons you feel Jordan can take back from other countries to promote and inspire that sector?
Thank you. I need to start with a personal note. I need to thank Alfie, my boss, back in 2002. You know, I'm here today because of the skills I learned on the production line in a factory that he was a shareholder in Ma'sara and Halwan. So I really learned a lot from you. I barely knew the production manager back then, but it was you and your partner Ayman Hajjawi who got me today on stage 20 years ago. Thank you. Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, actually it was the Ministry of ICT when I took over. And it took us a year with lots of dialogue with the private sector, with the startups. I mean, let me go back to what, I don't remember who said this, but you started in 2011, Arab Spring. I used to be an activist. I came to the government as an activist. So I wanted to make a difference. I had a very short period of time. So in the discussion with the people, we made sure that we need a representing body for the entrepreneurs in the government. It doesn't work being lost in the Ministry of Commerce, Ministry of Labor, whatever. We needed a represented body in the government, and that's why we created the Ministry of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship. So I swear oath twice for the same ministry. But we changed the role of the ministry to take care of financial services, digital infrastructure, skills. We enlarged our role because it's the future. We need to use the tools of the future to fight the battles of the future. That the Ministry of ICT was good for the last 20 years. For the next 20 years, we need something different. I'm currently the board member of ISSF, and one of the best investments we have done in the last year was Flat6Labs. I'm so happy that we have you. I mean, you gave us what Jordanian young people need. They need belief in their capabilities, in their prospect in the future, that they have created future in the past, and they will continue to do so. In the last year, we have co-invested in 10 funds, 16 direct investments, 50% of those are females. There's one fund that's female focused. That's wonderful, but I want also to go back to one thing that Dina actually said. Dina, who asked about the fintech, and it's a heavily regulated sector. Guys, you don't really need to wait for governments to regulate for the future. You go disrupt, and we will have to follow. We don't really, the governments cannot lead the future. You guys will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mutan. Thank you very much. Walid, clearly the IFC has been one of the earliest and biggest supporters of Flat6Labs across different countries. And I think IFC's investment in Flat6Labs Egypt was one of their first investments in accelerators. How do you see the early stage opportunity in general? And is this something that the IFC is now doubling down on, or is it still in exploratory mode?
Thanks very much for having me. Congratulations to Flat6Labs. I'm very conscious of the fact that I'm the only thing standing between everybody and dinner, so I'm going to be very brief in my remarks. But I would like to, IFC is the private sector arm of the World Bank. We're the largest private sector development bank in the world, and we're focused on promoting the private sector. And kind of the way I see Flat6Labs and what you do reminds me a little bit of a story. So I'm going to tell this story, hopefully to wrap it up. There was an entrepreneur who had $10,000, and he needed $100,000 to implement his idea. So he went to all of his friends, and he couldn't get any more money. So he went to the casino, and he started gambling. And he gambled and gambled and gambled and lost the $10,000. Then he was so depressed he needed to go to the bathroom. He went to the toilet, and they needed 25 cents to get into the toilet. So he didn't have it. He was in despair. And some kind man came over and gave him 25 cents. He went to use the 25 cents, but found that someone else had left the door open to the toilet, so he got to keep the 25 cents. So he used the toilet, came out, said, what am I going to do with this 25 cents? He put it in a slot machine, and he won $100,000. He was very happy with the $100,000. He developed his idea, became a multimillionaire. Once he became a multimillionaire, he hired private investigators to find the man that helped him. They searched and searched and searched, and finally they found him. And they brought the man to him, and they said, this is the man that gave you the 25 cents. He said, no, that was good. I liked that guy. I want the guy that left the door open for me. And for me, that's what Flat6Labs is. They're a door opener for entrepreneurs. They take our money and they build ideas and they build partnerships. And that's why we're so proud of the relationship. So congratulations, Flat6Labs. IFC is proud to be your partner.
Thank you, Ali. And on this story, we're going to thank our panelists today and conclude the program for the night. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Wael, and our distinguished panelists. Actually, there is one last thing. Yeah, sorry about this. Actually, we're about to serve dinner, so dinner will be there in a minute. No worries. But I think a lot of you and like a lot of the speakers who joined the stage tonight, they spoke about the next 10 years. What's happening for Flat6Labs when it becomes 20 years old. And as Dina mentioned earlier this evening, we have invested in 300 startups over the past 10 years. And we have been thinking a lot about how we can double this number to invest in 3,000 startups. And our way of thinking about this is that first, we will continue our geographic expansion. We have covered Abu Dhabi to Tunis, and I'm very proud to say that our next ambition is Cairo to Cape Town to expand further and further in Africa. We know that we have mastered South-to-South know-how transfer. We have the best model for emerging markets when it comes to seed investments and seed programs. And we would like to continue doing this in North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. We're also launching more sector-focused initiatives across the MENA region in specific sectors like fintech, logistics, health, and education, sectors that are extremely important for the region and Africa over the next 10 years. Lastly, we are investing heavily in our technology. We learned a lot over the past two years as the world moved online. We'll continue doing this. We'll be running more virtual programs and reaching the masses through technology and spreading all our support and impact. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Dinner is about to be served. We have a surprise live entertainment for you, and especially for all our guests who are coming to Cairo to join us this evening. I would like to ask you if you can make a way and passage for this entertainment. And enjoy your meal, and thank you so much, and see you at the next Flat6Labs event. Thank you.